This evening, we are honored to be joined by Wayne Murphy. Wayne is a retired law enforcement sergeant and a criminal investigator, and we'll be discussing just one of the most unbelievable discoveries that I've ever heard in all my years of broadcasting. When I first heard of this, I just couldn't believe it. So hang on to your hats, stand by. Because tonight we'll be looking into and talking about what Team Templar North America believes that they have uncovered regarding the lost gospels of the 12 disciples. Good evening, Wayne. How did all this come about?
What happened was in the early 80s, just a while out on a hunting trip, I accidentally came across, at that time, what I thought was a cave. Didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, went inside of it, looked around. I was too busy concentrating on hunting at the time to give it a whole lot of thought. But it never really left the back of my mind. So fast forward after I retired about 2018, I'm back in the same area hunting in a ground blind. And just innocently, I took some pictures of a large rock structure. Why? I don't know. It just looked like an interesting rock. And then later examination of them photos was later in the year in December. And then I noticed some carvings on the rock. And it wouldn't be too much later in March of the next year, 2019, till I had a chance to go back and actually examine the rock. And I took my brother and some nephews along. I wanted to show them the cave and show them the rock. And then when I got to the rock, there it was, the cross pate. So with that being said, finding a cross pate, very unlikely back in the woods in Wisconsin, as it's a medieval carving. And why it was there, I don't know. I know it's important that there's an entrance to the east, and that was always important to certain religious orders having an east and north entrance, east being the sunrise. So I started checking around the east entrance, and that's when I came upon a triangle. So I was like, whoa, come on over here, look at this, there's a triangle here. And then I told my brother, I said, doesn't that look like a fish carving right next to this triangle? So then I took various pictures of that, each of them separately, and then I had him use a measuring tape that we brought along just to show size, so that somebody looking at a picture would able to be determined just how big these objects were that we were looking at. So that next spring, my son and I, Paul, went back to the location where he found these cut rocks. And once we got there, I just could not believe what I was seeing. There was very large rectangular shaped rocks. There was long flat ones, somewhere 3 or 4 inches thick. They were 16 inches wide and 3 feet long. Some were triangle shaped. And so what I had him do is climb in a hole right next to one of these large rectangular rocks. And he was asking me why. I says, that rock just didn't get out of that big cut chunk of rock by itself. Someone had to quarry that rock, weighing several hundred pounds, lift it up and set it on top of the ground. As same as all these other rocks, someone had to purposely manipulate these granite rocks with some type of steel instrument hard enough to break granite. There's just too many in this area to be natural. I don't see too many triangle stones in nature, just 4 or 5 inches below the ground. And then when you dig them up, you'd find out that they were sometimes a foot high, triangular shape, almost like you were finishing an archway off a window. It was later on, about a year later, when someone from Rome, Italy reached out to me and said, I heard you found some interesting stuff in Wisconsin, a tomb and some crosses and stuff. Can you tell me more about it? As he was writing a book. So I responded back and sent him some pictures of what I found, and he was greatly interested in this. for his book. And he was researching the Knights Templar at the time and their activities. And he was real curious why these carvings were showing up in Wisconsin. At that point, I didn't have much of an explanation. But it was about, I'd say 2 or 3 months later, all of a sudden I get a message from him. And I asked him how the book was going and everything. He said, fine. And I said, have you ever seen this mark before anywhere in your research? A few minutes later, he sends me this picture back. He was in a 9th century church in Rome. On a column there in Rome at this ancient church was almost the identical same upside down triangle. I just could not believe it. The land of Egypt, a land of mystery, sand, and ancient knowledge. Gigantic pyramids that seem to raise up to the heavens. Some have even thought that they were there before the Egyptians. Who built these giant structures? Was it someone before, or was it the Egyptians themselves? TTNA will look at all these things. Hidden secrets that only those of the Egyptian heritage would learn, or would be foretold. The land of the deadly cobra. Some believed to be worshipped as a god himself. Under these great temples, secrets lay hidden for centuries, a mysterious religion that no one had ever heard of before. Out of this land of Egypt came a man called Moses, born a Hebrew but raised as an Egyptian, schooled in all of the ancient knowledge of the Egyptian pharaohs, mathematics, building, astronomy, alchemy. All the secret knowledge that the world possessed at that time. Like any great man of the Bible, Moses' story wasn't without controversy. He would become to be known to free the Hebrews after 400 years of enslavement. But what people don't remember is the knowledge that Moses brought with him, the secret knowledge.
From accidentally finding a cross pate in Wisconsin, then stumbling across an ancient tomb that may outdate Christopher Columbus by centuries. Are our forebears really trying to tell us something? Is it really possible that Team Templar of North America has come across information that could lead to what is believed to be the hidden gospels of the 12 disciples? Continue to follow us as we unravel these mysteries on this Team Templar magical journey. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.